on? Are we over all of this extracurricular stuff and this all the energy that team spent off the court this year? So give me a call, 808 KNBR. What do you do next? Also, why do the Giants bunt so much? I just had to get that out there. Jock Peterson, get out, hit the hand. Jock Peterson shouldn't be bunting. Enough with the bunting. You're a home run hitting team. Stop bunting. Okay, I had to get that off my chest. Back to the Warriors. I say you got to strip this thing down to the core except for Steph. And I'm not saying clean house, rebuild, none of that. But you really have to take a look at yourself and do an autopsy on this season if you're the Warriors. Like, you have to find out the cause of death. Was it the punch in the beginning? Was it team chemistry in the locker room? Why did Steph have to give a pump-me-up speech? Get on the bus if you're in, you're not. In Game 7 against the Kings. There's a lot going on with this team. Jordan Poole. I mean, Clay and Jordan Poole are trending on Twitter together. It's like Thompson and Poole, I think, is what's trending on Twitter. Clay didn't show up tonight. Is he done? I think it's fair game for whomever at this point, minus Steph Curry. And I think Steve Kerr, I've seen a lot of things about Steve Kerr on Twitter tonight. Those two guys are fine for me. And then the rest, I think you got to redo it. You got to figure it out. You got to overhaul your team chemistry. And just get Quincy in here, Quincy MD, and figure out the cause of death. Because right now, you could argue that the dynasty's over. And hey, the positive side is that last year we were thinking about a parade. At this point, we saw a parade. There's 4 championships. It was a good run. I don't know. They just look tired to me tonight. Clay, Jordan Poole, whatever you want to say. The Lakers had more energy. They were getting all the loose balls. They had the energy from their own fans. Kendall Jenner was there tonight, and that's all I really cared about after a while. I really did. I mean, I'm watching the Giants game on one screen in the studio. I'm watching the Warriors game on the other screen, and Kendall Jenner was at the game, and that's all I could focus on after, I don't know, it was like a 20-point lead, and it was just Kendall Jenner. She's there. Can we show her more? Oh, my God. Look at the phone lines. Let's go. Crank it up. What do you got tonight? 808 KNBR is the number you want to talk. We're talking Warriors right now. We'll get to the Giants when we get to the Giants. They have like 175 games left. Let's go to Lauren in Humboldt. Lauren, you're on KNBR. What's going on? All right. Go ahead. All right, Lauren, thanks for the call. The rest are Warriors. There wasn't a title by your call. I'm looking for Warriors calls right now, Lauren, but I hope you feel better about venting about the Giants tonight. We'll get into the Giants a little bit later, but thanks for the call, Lauren. Let's go to Rosenbag. Rosenbag wants to talk about the Warriors. Rosenbag, you're on KNBR. I'm great. I mean, as good as you can be when both teams lose tonight, but I don't know. It's just all good things have to come to an end. Let me interrupt you right here, Rosenbag, about Draymond. I'm over it. I am. And this is probably not going to be the most popular take in the Bay Area because there's a lot of Draymond Green fans, but I've bet on teams where we have an energy vampire, and it's just sucking the life out of the locker room. It's sucking the life out. You're talking about, you have to answer questions about it. They spent so much energy mentally on spin control and PR before the season even started. I'm surprised they had any gas left in the tank tonight. And when you have a guy like that, you say, thank you for 4 championships. I understand his value. I love his passion. I love how hard he plays. But ... there just comes a time when there's just enough is enough, man. Uncle, like all the technical fouls, all the stuff in Sacramento, I personally am over him. And whatever that means, I mean, for whatever that's worth, I just think you have to move in a different direction. And you have to surround Steph with better parts, where there's a big man down low that can score. I think they need a scoring big man. I think they need another shooter. The Jordan Poole thing, to me, might be the biggest question mark in the offseason because he was so inconsistent all year. I don't know if the punch had anything to do with that, but he regressed for me. He became a guy that was not dependable in the playoffs. You didn't know what you were getting from him. He was either turning the ball over and trying too hard or taking bad shots. It just didn't look like he was playing smart basketball, and I think he is a smart basketball player, but for whatever reason this year, he just wasn't the guy that I saw last year. Just a different dude. I think that's the last thing he needs. He needs, I don't know, something that puts you to sleep like a NyQuil. All right, Rosenbag, thanks for the call, dude. I appreciate it. My first note tonight looks like a pickup game. Steph forcing it. He's probably gassed. That was my first note I took down for the game tonight. And it did. It just looked like, I just don't like the Warriors when they dribble down and the guy that dribbles the ball down shoots before they even make one pass. And I saw that way too much tonight. I like when they skip the ball around. I like when they play tenacious defense. I like when they just look tired. I don't know. Maybe they were tired. Maybe it was the fact that the Lakers looked like they wanted it more. If you're just joining us, the Lakers win the series 4-2. They win 122-101 tonight. And I just never felt from the jump. I mean, I think I looked up and it was 17-7 or something right out of the gate. I just never felt like the Warriors were in it. They never got in the flow. And whether that was the Lakers and LeBron, who's just a beast, man. Whenever he goes downhill to the hole, it's just like it's over. It doesn't matter who gets in his way. He's LeBron. Let's go to Corey. Corey in Israel. Corey, all the way from Israel. I can hear you. Yes. Yes. What time is it in Israel? I can check on my clock here. So I'm Papa and Lund right now too. I'm on the day shift right now. Can you see us streaming? We're streaming now. If you go to KNBR.com, we're streaming. You can see me. We go on YouTube. We're on Twitch, and I mean, I'm by far the best looking guy at this station. So I'm the guy that this camera's really, really paying off for. Is it really? Wait, okay. Okay, we'll get to the Warriors in a second because you're talking to somebody who's... Hold on, Corey. I'm ADD as hell. If you talk pizza, like this is where this conversation is going to go for a second. Why is the pizza so good in Tel Aviv? Because I'm starving right now. I do. I have lots of them. I am. Oh my God, it does look good. We need to send Dave Portnoy to Tel Aviv, Israel. Oh yeah. Tony, check it out. Well, anyways, let's get back on track here. You want to talk about the Dubs? Oh yeah. The pizza dude though does look outstanding. Oh my God. All right, keep going. All right. Can you put some pizza in your luggage for me? Just smuggle it in through customs. All right, go ahead. Sorry. All right. All right, I get that part, but I'm more interested in the pizza. Agvania Pizza, it says right here. And I'm looking at pictures. It looks really good. And that was a really good call, but you lost me once you said pizza. I don't know. You said something about somebody going to some town and this guy going to Philadelphia. I don't know what you said. I'm looking at pictures of pizza on my computer, and that's all right. Mike, what's going on? Mike in Oregon, you're calling from the emergency room. Are we okay? Well, you're talking to me, which is good. You're in the care of professionals, which is better. And I hope you're okay, man.
I'm not sold on Poole. I think we could probably get something for him and bring somebody in that's more consistent, you know? So, I'm still listening to the sports, but it's been tough from the ER and the Giants. So, we could talk about that another time.
So, what are you having, chest pains?
Yeah. I was cooking dinner, air frying, and I broke out in a cold sweat. Everything got dizzy. I thought I was going to black out. Wound up calling 911, and here I am. So,
all right, well,
not a heart attack, but they're worried that there's something else going on. No blood clots around the heart, but something close to that. So, I'll know more after they run more tests.
All right, we'll say a prayer for you. You got my phone number. Will you text me updates after the show tonight, please?
Yeah, well, brother, but I'm calling in not for that, but I mean, I'm still, I have to live my life, and that includes. I'm sorry, I'm starting to break up, man. Your show's part of my life. I love it. You guys are great, and your crew that we don't talk about. Tony, Kyle, Jacob, and Raft, and I'm probably forgetting somebody. But they're all awesome dudes.
Did you say Tony, the little punk behind the glass right now tonight? Did you say his name? Don't forget Tony.
Yeah.
He's a pain. Mike, he's a pain in the ass, man.
They're all Tony, right? They're all Tony.
Mike, you're scaring me, but you sound good. You sound strong. So let the doctors take care of you. Text me an update. And then if you text me during the show, I'm sure there's a lot of listeners that hear you every night that are probably concerned too, and we'll give updates.
Man. Yeah, they're probably thinking, get rid of that blind old fool. Well, here comes the doctor now.
All right. I don't know much about. Tell him to hook you up to the defibrillators. Just tell him to do that.
Well, I hope they don't have to.
I watched Emergency as a kid. Just put the defibrillators on. You'll be fine. Mike, I'm worried about you. Text me later, okay?
All right, brother. Bye.
All right, see ya. That's Mike. He's a gamer. If you guys don't know, he calls the show pretty much every night. He was hit by a car a number of years ago and lost his sight. He's a veteran. He served our country. He's coming up to a Giants game in June, and I haven't told the Giants this yet, but we're going to try to hook him up with like wheelchair access, and he's blind, and he listens to the show every single night. Can you guys hear me on YouTube and Twitch right now? Can you hear the callers? More importantly, I'm getting a lot of text message on the text line. You can't hear the callers, so text me if you can. The 559 FP can't hear the callers on YouTube. The callers, okay. Everybody says it's working now. All right, good. We press it. We're pressing the right buttons. All right, Yeah, just to recap, I'm going to take a quick commercial break and then reset the show. I see some callers there waiting. I see some text message. Get to that. The Warriors lose 122-101. They lose the series 4-2 to the Lakers. As Dandy Don on Monday Night Football, he would say, turn out the lights, the party's over. Is this the end of the dynasty? And if you're to blame anybody right now on the Warriors, who would it be? 808 KNBR is the number. Your call's next on the Sports Leader.
You're tuned into KNBR Tonight with your host who wore the orange and black, FP Santangelo. Got Google Nest? If so, listen to the sports leader at home. This is KNBR 104.5 and 680. Listen to the sports leader at home.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.
We're playing that for the Warriors, not Mike, in case you're wondering. Mike's doing okay. He's giving me updates. The 4 and 5 chiming in, FP dude that had the heart attack is amazing. I would like to personally help finance his visit to Oracle for a game. Happy to pay for his tickets and transportation to and from Uber and give some money for some food and beverages for him and guests. Let me know if this is of interest. Yes, that is. I have your number. I will text you. I see it right there. That's really cool of you, Matt. That's really cool of you, Matt. And I'm going to say your name because that was really cool. And you're praying for his recovery. He'll be okay. I'd be worried if he wasn't at the doctor's. Let's just put it that way. If Mike was like at his house, I would tell him to go to the doctor's, but he's in good hands. I mean, that's all you can do, right? If you're having some chest pains, is go to the doctor's, and hopefully he'll be okay. Let's move on with the show. Warriors lose 122-101. They lose to Lakers 4-2. Is this the end of the dynasty? Is it over? It feels like it to me. I never felt championship vibes this year. I had so many people call, and you guys were so optimistic. So I did shows with Matt Kolsky, and he was saying they can repeat. And I've heard a lot of guys on the station, and I just never felt that vibe. And if you've been around championship teams, which most of you listening right now have, maybe more than a lot of regions in America, with the Niners and the Warriors and the Giants and all the parades we've had around here, you guys could feel it, right? There was always some sort of like vibe or whatever, maybe an intangible that you really couldn't put in any sort of stat, that you just saw a team coming together with characters that really cared about each other and loved one another. And there was a selfless kind of synergistic approach that we're all checking our egos at the door for the betterment of the ball club and the organization. And you could feel that as a fan. You could see it on a nightly basis. And I think what we saw this year with the Warriors was just a little glimpse of that, like a little appetizer, a little calamari over here, maybe some French fries, when you're drunk over here. But there was never that main course where his fans were just going, there it is. There it is. They clicked. We never heard the click. It was always like, ooh, that game was good. Steph went off. Oh, here they come. And then something would go the other way. And then, they're starting to gel. And then Wiggins disappears. And then, there was things during the year that you see as a former athlete, like Steph throwing his mouthpiece because Jordan Poole took a shot with too much time. Like, you don't show your teammates up unless they're just driving you nuts. And then something comes out like that. So we'll find out eventually the E! True Hollywood story and the autopsy on the season and what really happened behind the scenes. I really think we will, because there's really no secrets in sports anymore with social media and the reporters digging for stuff. But there was just something off with this team all year. There was never that feeling we had in 2010 with Cody Ross and Brian Wilson and Tim Lincecum, and the feeling we had in 12 and 14 with pretty much the same cast of characters. Mad Bum coming out of nowhere, pitching his ass off. And then you see all the special stuff, the Fear of the Beard, and all the little quirky stuff behind the scenes. And you have the interviews with Lincecum where he's dropping F-bombs. And then, even the Warriors teams in the past where they just you could tell teams that win championships, generally speaking nowadays, maybe in the past you had the Oakland A's who used to punch each other in the clubhouse, but that was in the 70s. I'm talking about modern day athletes. If you're going to win a championship and go that far and overcome adversity, because no championship season ever comes without adversity. The way you get through that, the way you win game sevens, the way you get deep into the playoffs, and the way you have a parade is a genuine love for one another. It's all about love, man. It really is. The coaches, the players, my teammates, my fans, there's just a lot of love there. And what that does is when you have love in a locker room or a clubhouse, you check your egos at the door and you're playing for one another. You're playing for something bigger than yourself. It's not about my stats. It's not about my contract. It's not about me getting in the game or how long I play or how many games I start. It's about one thing. It's about caring about the guy next to you, and it's about winning. And if you can create that I should back up a little bit. I don't know if you can create that. I think that's something that organically happens by putting a bunch of guys in a room and they generally love each other. They go out every night together. They have dinner together. You go to a restaurant, you see them all out together. They can't get enough of each other. You get to the ballpark, you get to the arena early because we kind of saw that with the Niners this year, didn't we? Like you saw a bunch that really cared about each other. Like we weren't in the locker room. We weren't at the practice facility, but you could tell that those guys cared about each other, man. There was egos being checked at the door all over the place. Nick Bosa is the greatest defender on the planet right now. He has zero ego. Just go down to Debo, zero ego. These guys, they want to play well, but they want to play well for each other. They want to play well for the coaches. And they want to play well for themselves. But it's not about me getting remember Kittle the first 5 or 6 games? He was getting like 1 or 2 catches a game. He never said a word. I need the ball more. What are we doing? All of a sudden he got the ball more. He and Brock Purdy had this chemistry together. So we've seen it before with the Warriors and the Splash Brothers. And even when KD was here, it was a little different. But they all check their egos at the door. This team this year, and this is knowing nothing. I wasn't at the arena. I went to 3 games, so what do I know? I'm not in the clubhouse. I'm not in the locker room. But just from the outside looking in, is there anybody out there that saw that 808 KNBR? Did anybody see these guys just a genuine love for each other? It seemed like they were always trying to fix something this year. They were always going to urgent care for whatever, for their egos, for their chemistry. And Steve Kerr gets it more than most coaches. I would say more than any coach, if I really had to get down to it, about the other part of the sport that's so valuable. It's not about the analytics. It's not about the stats. It's the stuff I'm talking to. And I think in today's game, when you're talking about pro sports teams and all the numbers and all the matchups and all the this and all the that in football and basketball and baseball, that's still by far the most important thing to me is caring about your teammate and loving each other. You can do a lot of things if you check your ego at the door and you're all about the big W. You can do a lot of things and move mountains if you guys are all on the same page and you generally care about your teammate and care about your coaches. It's just weird how that whole thing works. So in a day where we have so much information, so much stats, to me it gets down to guys seriously loving each other. Absolutely loving each other. What's up? Oh, we got some Draymond post-game sound? Good. Let's play that. Here's Draymond Green after the game.
Hard to prepare for the things that happened in the beginning of the season and then bounce back from that. But we did. It's hard to prepare for all the injuries that we dealt with throughout the season, for, missing Wiggs, for the time that we missed Wiggs, and, all the things that's going on. And saying that, there's no excuses. It happens throughout every season. And, if you win a championship, it's a battle cry. And it's like, yeah, man, we went through that. We went through this and we got through it. If you lose, you don't go back and blame all of those things and say, oh, man, this is the reason we lost. No, every season is made up of events. Some are great, some are not. I think for this team, more of the events that aren't so great were so public. And, that's not something that you normally deal with. And so the world knows, the tough times that this team's had. But there's tough times, in every season. Winning a championship, there are tough times. I remember David West said something some years back, and everybody's like, whoa, that's every year. It's things going on, and you band together and you try to work around them. And I think, for the most part, we try to do that. We fell short, and, that happens. But overall, we're not done yet. It was lost this year. We'll be back next year.
We tried to do that. Did you hear that? It sounded like they tried to do it, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. Just don't click. They never click this year. And this is just assumption and based on a lot of experience. I feel like I'm a professional body language reader. And I never saw, in Game 7 against the Kings, Steph had that look that I've seen so many times. I don't even know how to explain it. You guys know what I'm talking about. That intangible kind of like that eye of the tiger, like I'm coming to get you. He looked deer in the headlights to me tonight. He had a good game, but he's the only guy that showed up. He ran out of gas tonight. It's that simple. he put the team on his back to get to this point with not a lot of help from anybody. Maybe Looney, who played his ass off in this series and played his ass off in the postseason. And that's it. Jordan Poole disappeared. Oh, okay, 408. Let's play that game. I'm down. 408 chiming in with season of failure, ? You know that's been one of my big themes. What do you consider a successful season? What do you consider a failure? It's my favorite topic since I've been back here because it's very interesting to hear fans' takes on it. And I've been saying, so if the Warriors don't win another championship this year, is it a failure? If the Niners don't win a Super Bowl, is their season a failure? And a lot of you guys, and God bless you, I love all your opinions. That's what this show's about. It's about we, not me. And I love the fact that you guys chime in every single night. It's my favorite part of this show. And it blew my mind that the Niners were rolling. And I threw this out before the NFC Championship game. If they don't get to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, is this a season of failure? I got so many calls saying yes. And the Warriors just won the NBA championship last year. So do you consider this season a failure? And you remember with Giannis, right? The reporter asked him after the game, Tony, try to find that while I'm talking too much. And they said, do you consider this season a failure? He said, come on, man. And it was a great answer. It was a well thought out answer. Some people thought he was a little bit perturbed. Other people thought it was the classiest thing ever. And I don't consider seasons a success or a failure based on championships, because then 29 teams had failures for seasons in baseball. The rest of the teams in the NBA had failures of seasons, whoever wins the championship this year. Everybody but the Kansas City Chiefs season in the NFL was a failure this year. The Detroit Lions had a winning record for the first time in like 1,800 years, and their season was a failure. They're opening the year this year as a feature game against the Chiefs in Kansas City. So I don't base my season's success or failure based on championships. I just like the wild ride of the season. But I never felt like this was a fun ride with the Warriors. The Niners ride this year was awesome in its torture, right? Trey Lance gets hurt. Jimmy G, who is discarded, comes in and starts balling out. Then he gets hurt. Then Mr. Irrelevant comes in, not to mention the greatest defense that played with their hair on fire for 18, 19 weeks, whatever it was. And I just marveled at their effort and their passion every week. That was a successful season for me. Because I know how hard it is to win one game, let alone a championship. You got that sound, Tony? Play that sound.
For you, do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay, do you get a promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, And if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, Michael Jordan played 15 years. Won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me? No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, exactly. So why you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. There's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're going to come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures? No, it was not. It was steps to it, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one. Sorry that I didn't want to make it personal. Because you asked me the same question last year, and last year I was in the right mind space to answer the question back.
I mean, I played professional baseball for 14 years and never won a World Series. So was my career a failure? I don't know. I don't understand the logic there. There's disappointment. I think as Warriors fans, we're all disappointed tonight. Some are probably pissed. Others are disappointed. But I don't consider their season a failure. I don't. Well, maybe Steve Kerr had something to say. But by the way, before we go to Steve Kerr, I picked my nose already I picked my nose while that sound was playing. I forgot I was on TV. Dude, I'm going to get fired. This is so dumb. But it's a great idea, but it's so dumb. Like literally, I just picked my nose. I picked my nose. We have there's no, but I just realized we're streaming in case you're wondering. You can go to KNBR.com. You can go to YouTube. You go to Twitch. I don't know. Can you go to YouPorn too? Are we streaming on YouPorn? That would be cool if we were. All right, here's Steve Kerr after the game.
Just want to also say how proud I am of our guys. It's been a long and difficult season in many ways, but our guys hung in there. And to be here, to have a chance, in the conference semis, when for much of the season we were kind of adrift, it shows the character of our group and how they stuck together. And I want to really salute Wiggs for being there for our guys tonight. He's in a ton of pain, and he did everything possible to be available and did everything he could to make an impact. And it's been a difficult season for Wiggs in a lot of ways, but he's always there for us, and that's why we love him and need him. But our guys hung in there, and we had a shot, and we just couldn't quite do it, but the better team won. And as I said, couldn't be more proud of our group.
Good stuff from Steve Kerr. I think the best coach in the NBA, hands down. So the season ends on a sour note. I mean, there was never really that many. I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of routes in this series. 122-101. The Warriors lose. Steph Curry went for 32. He played 46 minutes tonight. Draymond scored 9 points. He played 23 minutes. Klay Thompson scored 8 points. Oof. I was watching the Giants game on one team TV and the Warriors game on the other, so I was paying attention. Wiggins had scored 6, but like Steve Kerr just said, man, I think he shot it up tonight. Can you imagine having a broken cartilage in your ribs and sticking an 8-inch needle in there to numb that stuff up? Oh my God! DiVincenzo was a guy. I tweeted Dubs in the Italian flag because he was playing so good tonight. He scored 16. He played 19 minutes, 16 points in 19 minutes. But LeBron, 50. What did he do? 30 points. Reeves was the story tonight. My goodness, 23 points. He was dunking. He was hitting 3-pointers. He was making big shots. AD had 17. Russell had 19. And Walker had 13. All right, we got some more Steve Kerr postgame. Let's listen to it. I'm sick of hearing myself.
I think this team probably, ultimately maxed out. I think, we were barely in the playoff picture for most of the year. So to make that push, to get there, to win an epic first-round series, and then, to give the Lakers, a fight in this series and have our chances, that puts us in the top, among the top, 8 teams in the league. That's probably where we should be. This is not a championship team. If we were, we'd be moving on. So you can look at the year in total and see all the ups and downs, and there was all kinds of stuff that went on and adversity that hit, but our group stayed together and competed till the end and made a pretty good run.
So, I mean, a lot of stuff that went on. Oh my God. I want to know all of it. From a gossipy, nosy sense, there was so much that went on that we have no idea about. All right, let's open up to everything. I'm going to take a quick break right now. 808 KNBR is the number. We'll talk some Giants on the other side. We devoted about an hour or so already to the Warriors. The Diamondbacks beat the Giants 7-5 tonight. Lots to talk about from that game. But the story tonight is obviously the Warriors season is over if you're just joining us. They lost 122-101. They lose a series 4-2 to the Lakers. The Lakers move on to play the Nuggets. That should be a good series. Somebody asking if I'm wearing my LeBron jersey. I don't like the Lakers. I did back in the day when Magic was, and there was, back in the day when I was a kid, Magic was my guy from Michigan State. I followed Magic out here to the West Coast, almost the same time. So, yeah, I liked Irvin Magic Johnson back in the day. But I've been a Dubs fan or a Kings fan for a long time. Who stays, who goes? Is the dynasty over? And we'll talk some Giants baseball next on the Sports Leader.
KNBR at your pad on your Apple HomePod. KNBR Tonight with former Giant FP Santangelo now continues on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
They're trying to make it tough on them. Like you said, they're the defending champ. They're not going to go away. The ability to score the ball, shoot the ball is unreal, unmatched. One of the best shooting teams in the league. They're never out of a game. So we just want to keep the pressure up, the intensity up, and be the hardest playing team for 48 minutes. I'm holding them to 101 points. Great defensively all around. But it started with, Dennis on Steph. The guy just found around being the most hard playing team, getting 50-50 balls, and that's what we got to do against this team.
Lakers beat the Warriors 122-101. They win the series 4-2. They move on to the Western Conference Finals against the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are going to sweep them, right? Are we rooting for the Nuggets now? We'll see how that goes. Let's go to the phone lines. We can talk about the Giants. They lose 7-5 tonight to the Diamondbacks. Blake Sable had another pass ball tonight. How long do you go with the Blake Sable experiment? He's swinging the bat well, man. I think he's a major league hitter. The other thing, and I'm going to vent for a little bit. You guys know I'm all positive all the time. I'm over the bunting, power hitters bunting. I like bunting. Like, I made half of my career being a bunter. But the power hitters bunting, I want to see power hitters hit for power. And if Farhan assembled a power hitting team, a home run hitting team, when Jock Peterson squares to bunt, I cringe. When Blake Sable squares to bunt with 2 strikes, I cringe. Like, I want these guys to run into one always. And who knows what would happen with 2 strikes if they swung the bat. There's so much emphasis on bunting with this team. And it's weird because it's one thing if you're, Carroll or, somebody from the Diamondbacks that can fly, and that's part of your game. Lay some bunts down. Yeah, get on base, steal second. But when I see guys that can hit one in the pool in Arizona, or guys that can hit one in McCovey Cove here bunting, it just rubs me the wrong way sometimes. Remember Brandon Belt last year? There was like runners on second and third or something, and he bunted. I was like, wait, no, you got to drive those guys in. Maybe he was hurt. I don't know what the circumstances were, but there's so much, and I think Gabe really likes the bunt. So that's great if that's part of your game, and they work on it a lot. So if you're Brett Wisely, lay down some bunts. If you're Bryce Johnson, lay down some bunts. But the big boys that can hit it out of the ballpark, no, I want you to run into one. I guess I'm old-fashioned that way. Let's go to Peter in San Jose. He's been waiting a long time. Peter, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hey, FP, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm kind of over the Warriors. I think they've given us a lot, so I don't really want to talk about them. I'm fine. I love Kerr. He's been such an amazing player, and we were very blessed to this run that they've gone on. So I know a lot of people are complaining, but the season's over. Move on. But I just wanted to talk Giants. The thing is, I don't understand. It's like you got Wood back. I just don't know what Kapler brings positively, because I get the opener thing. You want to ease him in. He has all these things. But it's like you have Wood back. Why do you go with Stripling anyway? And then just put Wood for one inning. And I feel like there's not a plan. And, I love what Casey Schmidt is bringing. I love what we have some good hitters this year. But it's just like I feel like every time baseball's such a unique sport that you have a starting pitcher, a different starting pitcher. So a great starting pitcher, a team can beat anybody. You can have a Cy Young, but you can have a bad team and you can beat anybody. But a bad starting pitcher just kills momentum because so much depends on them. And it's like 2 straight games. You've had Casey Schmidt have great games the day before, for example, and he's bringing a spark to the team. And you have Manaea go out there stripling, and it's just like, how much of a leash are these guys going to get?
Yeah, I understand. Here's the thing that frustrates me a little bit too, since I'm kind of venting tonight, is that when you have 7 starters and you start the game with an opener, I don't get that philosophy yet. Your starting rotation is deep. Alex Wood is a starter, and he came in, the 7th tonight or something like that? I got to get the box score up. So from that standpoint, your starting pitching is your strong point, I think, this year. And then you use the opener in Brebbia tonight. So that's confusing to me. I know that the theory is you only have to face, 3, 4, 5 or 2, 3, 4 3 times if you can get them out the first time with an opener. Like, I get that. I understand the philosophy behind it. But if starting pitching is your depth, then why don't you use starting pitching? And Stripling, something has to be done. Stripling has he's given up 10 home runs already in like 18 innings. That's crazy. Like, if he's a starting pitcher, he's on pace to give up like 50 home runs. And I guess he is a starting pitcher. So something has to be done there. Manaea, I feel like maybe Manaea comes out of the bullpen and just throws 98 for an inning and lets it rip. And then you see what he's going to do. None of this is any of my business. I'm just kind of like thinking out loud on 50,000 watts right now. If you're in that clubhouse and you're in that dugout, you know more about those players than I ever will. But, the bunting thing, though, I'm qualified to talk about that. It frustrates me when power hitters bunt, and I don't think I'm ever going to get over that.
I agree with you on the bunting. Yeah, I don't understand. Especially, I see Wade, and I know Wade's fast, but he's hit 7 home runs. The other day he tried to bunt, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, because it's just like, unless they can get hits every single time, you want a power hitter swinging the bat, especially Jock Peterson. He's not even that fast, but he's a good power hitter. Yeah,
Jock squared around with 2 strikes tonight, too, which I don't.
Yeah, that's.
And then Blake Sable struck out taking a pitch with 2 strikes out of the bunt stance the other night. And I'm just like, I need you to swing there, man. Run into one. Hit a double. Hit one in the seats. Who knows? There's a lot of home runs are hit with 2 strikes nowadays more than ever, because guys don't really take a lot out of their swing. So this part to me is perplexing.
Yeah, it's also tough because we have 3 starting pitchers that are phenomenal. There's a top 5 in the National League, you have 3 of the top 5 in your rotation in walks per 9 innings. Webb, Cobb, and DeScalfani have been phenomenal, and then you just get such a drop-off. I just wish we could get somebody that was just average in the 4th and 5th spots, because they would start winning a bunch of games, because the hitting is decent, and I think the bullpen will get there. Obviously, I think Duvall could be the best reliever in baseball. So they have a lot of good pieces. I just feel like they need to kind of like give shorter leashes to some of these other guys there. I feel like are kind of holding the team back. from really going on a good run.
What if you made Duvall a starter and Trevor Rogers was your closer?
I don't know. I just don't.
He could be like Pedro Martinez part 2. I'm telling you.
I didn't fix it.
I'm telling you. All right. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate the call.
Good.
I'm trying to think of Felipe Alou did that with Dustin Hermanson. Dustin Hermanson was a closer. He threw like 98 in Montreal. You guys probably don't know who he is. And then Felipe made him a starter. He goes, I got to see that guy pitch more than one inning. And he became a really good major league starter. Let's go to Max in Reading. Max, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much.
What do you do? Oh, well, I guess it's Friday. You can be up on Friday. Plus, I mean, it's only 11 o'clock. What's going on, man? How are you? How was your week?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, and are we talking Giants tonight? What do you want to talk about?
I'm just going to talk about Ross Stripling. So he's given up 10 home runs in 29 innings pitched. And if my math is correct, that's just a little bit over 1 home run per 3 innings. And I was watching on the TV, and Kruk said that you want to have like 1 home run per 10 innings. And he's way over that. So I don't know if he needs to maybe locate better or just get the ball down. I don't know, but something has to change with that.
Yeah, he's a pitch-to-contact guy. You're right. 29 innings right on the nose, and he's given up 10 home runs. His ERA sits at 7.14 right now. And this is a guy that had a hell of a year last year in Toronto as a starter. He was 10-4 as a starter last year with an ERA right in the low 2s. And he had I think he had like 24 walks all season. So he's a pitch-to-contact guy, and right now he's getting a little bit too much of the plate. I don't know what you do with him, but I mean, you got to figure something out right now. Max, you're in 8th grade or 9th grade?
8th grade.
All right, you're an 8th grade GM. What would you do with Ross Stripling?
I would make him just a starter. I don't want this bullpen. I don't want to see him in the bullpen. He did really well last season with Toronto, and now he's doing all this bullpen stuff, and it's not working.
You know what? Okay, you officially have the best take all night, because if you talk to pitchers, they don't like to come in relief one day and start the next day and an opener one day. They won't say it publicly, but I feel like if you asked them off the record, there's probably like a Jacob Junis or a Ross Stripling that's really having trouble with not knowing what their role is right now.
Yeah.
All right, Max. Well, you win take of the night. Thanks. Get some sleep. Go to bed.
All right.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for calling. Always good call from Max. He's from Reading. He's in 8th grade, and he's going to have all of our jobs someday. Let's go to Betty and Benicia. Betty and Benicia. I just love saying that. Go, Betty and Benicia.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to let Mike know that we love hearing him, the ones that listen to you all the time. And he calls in, and we love hearing from him. So I hope everything works out for him.
I'm waiting for an update on my cell phone. I gave Mike my number, so when I hear something, I will definitely pass it on to you, Betty.
Okay.
He's a tough old dude. I think he's going to be fine.
He'll do well. But I also want to talk about the Warriors, and I just feel that the Warriors tonight did not win because they just didn't do well, period. I mean, the baskets weren't. The ball wasn't going in the basket several times, and it wasn't just one; it was several. So, I mean, they lost because they didn't have it in them.
Betty, I'm no basketball guru, but I feel like the ball has to go in the basket to win.
Oh, you definitely.
Right? That's the number one thing, right? It's like you have to cross home plate to win in baseball, and the ball has to go in the basket for basketball.
Yeah, and just one doesn't just do it alone. You have to have several do it, and it wasn't happening.
You can't get analysis like that anymore.
So anyway, that's my input for tonight.
Thanks, Betty. I appreciate it. Betty and Benicia. It's Betty from Benicia, in case you're wondering. All right, going to take a quick break. 808 KNBR is the number. Put the ball in the basket. Damn it. I was yelling at the screen all night. First of all, you got to dribble. That's number one if you're going to break down basketball. Number two, you got to put the ball in the basket. Dribble, put the ball in the basket. They didn't do either. Well, they dribbled, but they didn't put the ball in the basket. 808 KNBR is the number. Warriors lose 122-101. They lose a series 4-2 to the Lakers. Lakers going to the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets. The Giants lose 7-5 to the Diamondbacks tonight. I have all kinds of notes from that game. So we'll talk a little bit of baseball on the other side. You're listening to the Sports Leader. Betty, I'm no basketball guru, but I feel like the ball has to go in the basket to win. All right, Frank Paul here, live from our downtown studios. We've been talking a lot of Dubs after the game tonight. They lose 122-101. They lose the series 4-2 to the Lakers. Lakers go on to the Western Conference Finals against the Denver Nuggets. And my buddy, Cyrus comes on to break down some Dubs. You can find him on Locked On Dubs or at Rick Barry's house in a podcast. He talks Warriors all the time. So we got an expert on KNBR. Cyrus, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm supposed to speak to FP. Who's Frank Paul? Nice to meet you, Frank. But
it's Frank
where's
Paul.
FP?
We got streaming now, Cyrus. I'm on late night right now. I'm on some late night streaming, baby.
I'm teasing. I'm making bad jokes to compensate and cope with the Dynasty potential ending, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing okay. I mean, I saw this coming all year. I'm not bummed because there was never. I've been talking about a lot, Cyrus. I've never felt the intangibles, the love for one another, the vibe, the synergistic approach where they're all checking their egos at the door. I felt like there was something amiss all season long. Nothing ever really clicked. There'd be little glimpses here, like a game here, game there. You're like, oh, there it is. That's what we're used to around here. But for me, I never felt it. And I talked about all the Giants teams from the past with these guys generally loved each other. And even the Warriors teams of the past, I felt like they just loved each other. And where there's a lot of love in a locker room or a clubhouse, you can move mountains. And I just never got that vibe. And maybe it's my own deal because there was a punch at the beginning of the year. But if you watch them, they were never just this flowing unit that played as one. I never saw that consistently all season long.
Dude, you nailed it right on the head. I don't know how I could say it any better. I couldn't count them out for two reasons. One, they still had Stephen Curry in his prime. They still had all these veterans that have accomplished things no other NBA player has accomplished. I mean, entering tonight, they had a streak of 28 straight series with a road victory. It was just and the NBA landscape, I just didn't see anyone out there that was that threatening. So I kind of had hope, but you're absolutely right, dude. From the moment the offseason started last year, nothing felt right. It was just weird move after weird move. This didn't look like an actual team, right? Like in the sense of the word. And it showed tonight, man. And the Steph and all the greatness on that team took them as far as I think they could have gone. But you're right, dude. Something was amiss there, and it showed tonight.
Yeah, Steph looked gassed to me. Absolutely out of gas. And there was a weird look on his face after, what was this, Game 6? After Game 5, when he was on the bench and he had the towel over his head and he was just staring, and they had the close-up of him, and the game was over, and he looked pissed. And a lot of people said he was gassed and tired, but there were some weird things that happened at the end of that game, like a 10-second violation and a foul with like 8 seconds left, and just there was stupid stuff going on, and it's just like, almost like, dude, I'm so over this, but maybe I was wrong and I read too much into it. Anyways, he did everything he could.
He absolutely did. Look, he can't end this season with his head hung low, even though he's probably bummed. I didn't see any quotes from him yet in the postgame. I heard some sound from Kerr, from Draymond. I don't know if he spoke and what he said, but he has no reason to hang his head because, like, they didn't lose because of him. I mean, when you look back on the season after tonight, right? I mean, you got to let the dust settle. That 50-point game in Game 7 was like heroic by sports standards, dude. But you're also right. He didn't have enough depth. He didn't have enough support, and he's a human being. I mean, he's one of the most in terms of stamina, he's at the peak in terms of NBA players. I don't know who has more stamina than him, who has better conditioning than him. But he's a human being, man. I mean, even the greatest athletes have their limits, and you're right. I think he hit his, and he just didn't have enough help, dude. Like, Jordan Poole was supposed to be his primary backup, and Poole has been a disappointment this whole series, and he just didn't have enough, dude. You got to feel for that guy because it just sucks because the Warriors had won the title this year. His legacy would be at a place where only a few other individuals could ever dream of accomplishing. He would be on the Mount Rushmore. You'd call him the greatest point guard ever. I mean, that's what was at stake with this season, and for the team to let him down, and I really think they did, it's kind of a bummer, man. But I totally agree with you.
Talking to Cyrus Satsis, he is. You can find him on @LockedOnDubs. His Twitter handle sucks. He would have way more followers if it wasn't @DogSurfRoadshow, and his name is Cyrus Satsis. Whatever. You got 10,000 followers, bro. You have like 50,000 if you could find you @DogSurfRoadshow. Change your Twitter name, bro. Like, that's terrible. All right.
But dude, I mean, have you seen my name? Like, I'm in a no-win situation, dude.
Your name's badass, dude. Cyrus the Virus Satsis, dude. It's a great name, bro. Anyways, you're listening to Cyrus and FP. We used to do radio shows together back in the day. All right. What happened to Jordan Poole? What's going to happen to Jordan Poole? I'm obsessed with Jordan Poole in a negative way right now. He went from my favorite player last year to he makes me pull my hair out this year. And he just regressed in so many ways. Do you keep him? Do you trade him? What's next for Jordan Poole, and what happened to the guy?
Don't pull your dude. You got a beautiful head of hair. Don't mess
I do,
with
and
that.
you can find it streaming right now on our KNBR app or YouTube or Twitch. And I'm by far the best looking guy at the station.
Yeah, you don't have a face for radio, dude. Like don't mess with the hair.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So here's the thing, dude. Like first of all, it's insane that literally the game ends, and like a minute later, The Athletic is reporting that they're already talking to Draymond Green about a contract extension. And Draymond Green was quoted as saying, "I want to be a Warrior for the rest of my life. I want to ride out with the same dudes I rode in with," unquote. Those are awesome things to hear. And the fact that the Warriors are already discussing a contract extension, because there's no chance in hell that he's going to accept that player option. He's going to opt out and either sign with someone else or hopefully stay with the Warriors. And to hear that is awesome, dude. That is great news. What that also likely means is Jordan Poole is gone. It would really surprise me if the team kept him, dude, because he's got a 5-year deal starting next season. Next season will be year one. He's going to make $27.5 million next year, and he's not earning that with this kind of play. And I think he does more bad than good at this point. The turnovers, the awful defense, the inefficient shooting. The question is, who's going to take him, right? But I don't see him back next year. And the reason why his game regressed, I thought Charles Barkley actually nailed it. Barkley, who usually hates on the Warriors, just for some reason stopped and started actually analyzing them. And he was analyzing Jordan Poole specifically. This was just the other night. And he said Jordan Poole reminded him of another NBA player. I forgot who the player was, who had a career like Poole's, where he was on track to being a great player, but this other player was doing the same thing Jordan Poole is doing, which is taking dumbass shots. He takes difficult shots, and the why of that is weird. Like, he takes shots where he's defended really well. He takes 30-foot three-pointers when he could move up and take a 23-footer. And, again, the why of that is a mystery. It could be immaturity. It could be just that's how he likes to play. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And this year, like, he really regrets in that regard where he thinks he's Stephen Curry, but he's not Stephen Curry. And if he ever learned to just, simplify things and attack the paint on a consistent basis and worry about involving other teammates and not just scoring, he could probably be a great player in this game. But he's all about the bravado and the dramatics. And so I think he's gone, dude. And the one trade, my buddy Conor Letourneau of the San Francisco Chronicle proposed this, so I have to give him credit for this. But it's the one trade I've heard that sounds realistic, like it sounds plausible, and that would be trading Jordan Poole to the Washington Wizards for Kristaps Porzingis for the simple reason that you'd be getting size, you'd be getting a two-way player because Porzingis can hit the three. Porzingis is on an expiring deal, so if it doesn't work out, you can have him walk away after next season and not worry about the money. And the Wizards will probably agree to do it, because the Wizards typically bring in players that make no sense. And secondly, though, on a more realistic level, they don't want to lose Porzingis for nothing. So if Porzingis is going to be a free agent after next year, they'd probably rather bring someone like Poole in, so at least they have someone to show for it. But that's all I've heard so far in terms of trade ideas. But yeah, Poole, man, it's a bummer. It's a bummer because they needed him and he did not deliver.
Talking to Cyrus Satsis, you can follow him on Twitter at Dog Surf Roadshow, which I have no idea what that means, and at Rick Barry's house.
You want to explain that real quick? I used to host a podcast on Yahoo Sports Radio called the Dog and Surfer Roadshow. It was like a very eclectic show where I'd have interviews with people who are like pro surfers or like travel experts. It was just a really wild show, random, but it was successful. It was fun. And so I had a Twitter account named after the show. It's called the Dog and Surfer Roadshow, and the Twitter verified that and not my personal account. So I switched over to that for the blue check mark. Now it doesn't matter. So maybe. Oh,
dude, I did the same thing. I was at FP Santangelo, and somebody hacked my account like in 2010. And so I changed to at Fighting Hydrant. And then once you get verified, and there's no blue check anymore, and I don't even know how to go on with my life without a blue check. I say prayers in the morning that I can make it through the day without a blue check. People on the street are going, "Are you verified?" And I'm like, "No," and I'm just walking with my head down. I poured gas on myself the other day. I was about to light a match. I said, no, it's not that big a deal. So maybe someday I'll get my blue check back. I'm not paying for a blue check. Kiss my ass. I'm not paying for a blue check ever. Ever. They need to be if
you put stuff on fire, you're going to burn the hair, dude. So
Look, if you go on YouTube right now or Twitch or KNBR.com, you can see me. Not YouPorn, YouTube. If you can see me on YouPorn, we're all in trouble right now. All right,
big time.
Cyrus, is the dynasty over? Is this it? Are they ever gonna win another championship, or is it turn out the lights, the party's over?
No, No, there's still hope for the simple reason that you still have Steph at the peak of his powers. The Klay Thompson thing is a huge issue, dude, because he's no longer the Klay Thompson we've known, and I really think you're gonna have to treat him like a bench player next year. You can't count on him being one of your best players anymore. So if the Warriors make the right moves, it sounds like they want to bring Draymond back. Draymond's literally talking like he wants to be a Warrior for life. So you have some core pieces there. Look, but the bottom line is this for me, man. Steve Kerr did an awful job this year. And I've never asked for a coaching change for this organization as long as he's been there. But something's got to change, man. And I don't know if his top assistant has to go, and that's Kenny Atkinson, who I learned really late in the season was a huge reason for the team's decline this year. He's in Steve Kerr's his ear every day talking analytics, and Steve Kerr's never been an analytics guy. And he let this slip in an interview just 3 weeks ago that every day Kenny Atkinson sees him to talk analytics, and Kenny Atkinson is a large numbers guy. And for me, baseball and the NFL has room for that, man. You can make big decisions based on analytics and certain data. Basketball is a different sport. It's much more reactionary. It's fast. dude, like you don't need numbers to tell you who a good player is if you're observing the game closely, and that was a bad influence. So I do think some change needs to occur on a coaching level because you need coaches that are going to bring out the best in Moody and Kuminga. You have two really talented young players there that could have made a difference in a series like this if you'd actually played them this year instead of playing these two-way guys that made no sense whatsoever. So I'm sorry for being long-winded. Answer, I don't think it's over, but there's got to be some significant change this offseason if you're going to resurrect it.
Yeah, I don't know what the analytics say, but I've been saying all season long that no championship season ever started with a teammate punching another teammate. I've been saying it all year in the history of sports. Now, maybe during the season when you're with each other every day and it's like the fourth month of the season and it's the dugout and somebody says something. I've seen fights in the tunnel. We saw Jeff Kent and Barry Bonds go at it in San Diego back in the day.
Yeah.
But that's in the middle of the season. When you get to spring training in baseball or you get to camp in football, everybody's just loving each other. It's like the first day of school. So the fact that happens so early, I've been saying all year long that no championship season ever started with a teammate punching another one. And I don't know if that had anything to do with their demise and their decline this year. Well, I don't know if we'll ever know, but that's something. It's not nothing. I know that.
It's something. I'll say this, man. Like I think that the incident was a little overplayed. Everyone has like a different opinion, man. Like even former athletes like yourself, one former athlete will say, dude, that's going to have a huge impact. I mean, your teammate practically knocked the other one out. Then I'll talk to another ex-athlete who'll say, oh, I saw stuff like that happen all the time. That wasn't a big deal. So it's hard to really get like a clear-cut answer on it. But I will say this. From Draymond Green, the day of the incident, was having one of the worst days of his life. I can't specify what was going on with him behind the scenes. I'll tell you later, and then if you want to run with it, you can. But he was having an awful day, and if you knew what he was dealing with, you would have some understanding that, he was having a bad day. Is that the best way to express yourself when you're angry? Obviously, no, man. I mean, we're in a civilized society, but it's also pro sports. These are, testosterone-driven athletes who have a lot of rage going on, even in a practice. Is it a good look? No. Did the players overcome it during the season? From what I've heard from my sources inside, yes. It stopped being an issue. Jordan Poole is like that annoying little brother. I think that's the best way to describe him. You saw Stephen Curry get ejected for a game this year because he threw the mouthpiece in frustration. The punch from Draymond. And so, dude, the guy clearly gets under his teammate's skin. But you're right, dude. It's not a good look. I mean, there's no way you can defend it. There's absolutely no way you can defend it. And it started awful. I'll even take it a step back, and this might be too nuanced, maybe not, but the Warriors last year had a two-way player named Quinndary Weatherspoon, who I thought was awesome. And he was supposed to come back this year, and he was going to kind of take on the Gary Payton II role because they didn't bring Gary Payton II back originally. And then Weatherspoon publicly stated that he thought he deserved the guaranteed deal. And I kid you not, and my sources confirmed this, Steve Kerr did not like hearing that and cut him for that reason. And that's where Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb came from. So to me, the offseason, even before the Jordan Poole punch, went off to a horrible start with that. And that was very nuanced. A lot of people didn't know about it, but I pay close attention to all these little things, man, because I think they do make a difference. But, dude, the Poole punch was awful. There's no way around it. But also, I think his time with the Warriors is done, if I had to guess.
So I punched Tony the other day, my producer, on the other side of the glass, just because I had a bad day, and he went to break too soon. I went back there and just socked him one right in the kisser. Is Bob Myers back? What do we got there?
Well, first of all, if you punched a producer, that means he deserved it.
He did.
Right, obviously. And then
he's going to have a bad season now, apparently.
Here's what I've heard. Bob Myers will come back. That he's basically this is all negotiating. He's been offered 2 deals, 2 extensions by Joe Lacob. He turned both of them down. He's officially a free agent. My understanding is he doesn't want to go anywhere, and that they will come to a deal. But this is all for him gaining leverage. He's overseen one of the greatest runs in professional sports history. He wants his due. He wants that check. He wants the bag. So hopefully Lacob will give him the bag, and Bob Myers stays. The Steve Kerr part of it is different a little bit because Steve Kerr is now officially in a lame duck season. And I think the last time a coach was in a lame duck season and actually coached was maybe Rick Adelman in the 2000s. It's a very rare thing. So that's kind of interesting as well, and Bob Myers, for the first time in their relationship, publicly criticized Kerr this season for the whole James Wiseman fiasco, not playing bigs and and going overboard with small ball stuff. So there's like this team definitely needs to sit down and have some conversations this offseason. All I'm saying is if the Steve Kerr era ends, and let's say we have someone like Brent Barry come in to take over, I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world, man. Sometimes fresh blood is needed. But Bob Myers, I really think, is fundamental, dude. He is a genius when it comes to not only to personnel, but also player relations. Like, he's the guy that typically smooths over the Draymond stuff. And that's just who he is. Bob Myers is a classy dude. I know you know him personally. I just hope he doesn't leave. But everything I've heard indicates he's not going anywhere and that this is just him negotiating to get the bag.
Good stuff, Cyrus. Thanks for coming on last minute emergency call out. We did the bat signal for the night show, and Cyrus Satsis, nice enough to join us tonight. Lock us all in after the game. Really good inside stuff, dude. Like, awesome. I appreciate you coming on.
Anytime, brother. I'm always there for you, dude.
Yeah, we need to go. Can we? We used to live in the boonies. We need to catch up and go have a beer somewhere.
I'm buying a house out here. I'm going to be a homeowner in California, which I don't know how I pulled this off. I love the Russian beer. Dude, this is my little home. You got to come see me out here, dude. We got a little downtown with a bar scene. I got a jacuzzi. The beach is down the street. I'm in the Redwoods. I'll come see you too, man. But
I'll come see you. I'll come see you, dude. That's great. I wear my Birkenstocks. We'll just smoke joints all day. All right, dude.
Love you, man.
Love you too, bro. Thanks for coming on. All right. We'll have that Draymond Green sound for you on the other side of the break. Here, listen to FP Santangelo. This is KNBR Tonight on the Sports Leader.
Enjoy KNBR in FM at 104.5 FM. Now back to KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo on the Sports Leader.
Tony, turn on the streaming. Let's go. We're back from commercial break. Get it together. There we go. I'm on TV, but I'm on the radio. I don't know where I'm at. I'm stuck in a box. Wait, we should do we should change the mood lighting in here. Yeah, someone's saying it looks like a prison. Tony, come around the corner here. And then we'll do the sound after. Just a quick mic update, you guys. You just texted me. For those of you who were listening earlier, they ruled out heart attack and they ruled out blood clots, and they got him on some sort of pain thing, a drip right now, and he's going to talk to a cardiologist. Yeah, red. That's the red. You like the red? No, go red. No, really red. Redder. More red. Yeah, that looks good. No. All red. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, like that. There we go. Yeah, baby. We got it red up in this bitch right now. All right. Let's go some more Warriors sound at 11:30 on a Friday night. All right. This is what Cyrus was talking about, though. I think this is really relevant. Let's go to this is Draymond saying he wants to be a Warrior for life.
We'll see what happens as far as my contract goes. Obviously, I have an opt-out. Everybody know about that. I know about that. I'm aware of that. But as I've told you guys, for years, I want to be a Warrior for the rest of my life. I want to ride out with the same dudes I rode in with. And, I think we've put the work in to make that happen. Here we are with our worst season as a whole since 2014, and yet, we had a chance to make another run. So it's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it seems. But, those are some of my priorities. Travel a little bit, refill the cup, possibly play FIBA. We'll see. And work my ass off and be better next year. It's my priorities.
All right. Very frank stuff, as you would imagine, from Draymond Green after the game. He wants to be a Warrior for life. I said earlier in the show that I was kind of over him, and I'm sure that's not a very popular take, but it just seems like there's a lot of distraction that comes with him. I know he's the reason why they won 4 championships, a big reason. But I also know that when you're in a locker room and you're always dealing with stuff, and that stuff is one guy most of the time, that gets tiresome. I've been around some really good baseball players that if you knew them behind the scenes, it wasn't that they were bad guys, and I'm not saying Draymond's that, but they just suck the life out of the clubhouse because you're always answering questions for them. What he said this and he did that, and then you have to answer questions for him. So it takes a lot of mental energy and life out of your team and focus, where you're focusing about answering questions about something somebody in your team did instead of the game today, or something specifically that happened to you in the game today. That the off the court and off the field stuff gets tedious after a while. All right, Steph Curry, we caught up with him after the game with our KNBR microphones, and he said he was talking about the emotions in the locker room.
You're disappointed and kind of shell-shocked that it's over. You pour so much into every season, but coming off of last year, trying to defend and give ourselves a chance to keep advancing. It's a tough way for the season to end. Like you said, it's unfamiliar territory, but, proud of the fight that we had.
So that was Steph Curry after the game talking about, he did everything he could. He laid it on the line. And you can only do so much as one man. It's a team sport, and he just didn't get a lot of help from his friends. This is Steph Curry also about the future of the Dubs.
We'll all collectively kind of handle those in the right time. I think obviously start at the top and working down in terms of trying to put together the best team possible next year, making sure all the pieces fit and understanding how we can retool to put ourselves in a position to be a legit championship contender, because for us that's all we're worried about, and that includes Bob, that includes DG, other decisions that we got to make. But at the end of the day, that'll settle itself.
At the end of the day, they're going to ask Steph Curry what he thinks about everything. When you've been with an organization for so long and you're that valuable and you've won that many championships, everything goes through Steph Curry, you would think. All right, here's Steve Kerr talking about something after the game. Here's the Warriors coach.
I think it's probably too raw right now for me to think about. The one thing I will say is that, Draymond, Clay, Steph, our core guys, they've got plenty left to offer. There's still plenty in the tank there. I thought they all had great seasons and may not have ended on a high note, but all three guys are still high-level players, and I still feel like this team has championship potential. We didn't get there this year, but it's not like this is the end of the road. But the organization has some decisions to make, and we'll eventually get to that point.
Yeah, you got to strip it down, man. There was something missing this year, and you have to find out what the intangible was. This isn't about math. This isn't about analytics. There was something missing from this team. They got us a championship last year, and that's pretty cool, and I'll always hang on to that. But there was definitely something off. The chemistry was different this year. And we caught up with Clay after the game, too, and he was talking about the same thing.
I fully believe that, and it stings real bad. It's going to sting all summer. But, first time in a long time that Dre, Steph, and I were healthy and not making the finals. So it's rare to be off during this time of year, but I can tell you we gave it everything we had, and it just stings. But, I believe that we have greatness in our future still.
Well, you got to believe, and he had a tough one. You know what sucks? And I've been in those shoes before in the playoffs where he had a bad last game, and you just wear it all winter. It takes about a week to get over with. You kind of leave it in the locker room, but it sticks with you, and you finally get over it, but you never really get over it because you're only as good as your last game. And if you have a clunker on the way out in a big game like Clay did tonight, he's going to have a rough offseason. He is, because he cares, and he's a champion. He has the heart of a champion. So it kind of sucks the way he went out tonight and the way they went out tonight, but I thank them for all they did for us over the years. All right, going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with your phone calls if you want, your text messages if you want. 808 KNBR is the number. I'm FP Santangelo. I am live streaming right now. I am looking good on the Sports Leader.
Follow KNBR on Facebook. This is KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo on KNBR 104.5 and 680. The Sports Leader.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.
Dandy Don singing Turn Out the Lights. The party is over. Yeah, Tony, when you become an amazing veteran producer and there's red lights on behind somebody, you'll put on like, Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. You don't have to sell your body to tonight, Rox. You remember that song. All right. We got the red lights on here. We're streaming tonight. It looks like there's 20, there's like 40 people watching right now on a Friday night at 11:38 p.m. You guys are awesome. So I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate all your phone calls tonight. So we're gonna play the Steve Kerr press conference right now, the finale of the year, and he's going to kind of sum up everything that happened. So here's Steve Kerr's whole press conference after the game.
First of all, I want to congratulate the Lakers. They played a hell of a series. It's a great team. I want to congratulate